Good morning, students. Today we will continue with the properties of the D block elements. So we are going to discuss now the ionization enthalpy. If you see the picture which is given here, you will find that the first ionization enthalpy, second ionization enthalpy, and the third ionization enthalpy of the first transition series, it increases progressively. Right, the magnitude of the first ionization enthalpy is less than that of the second, and the second ionization enthalpy is less than that of the third. Right, the following trends which has been observed in the ionization enthalpy can be explained on the basis of the nuclear charge of these elements. Now here you can see certain points are being penned down. The first is that the first ionization enthalpy of the D block elements are higher than S block elements but lesser than the P block elements. Right, so as we move across each series, there will be the increase in the ionization enthalpy, right, and though it not be quite regular, right, but there will be increase in the ionization enthalpy. Second is the increase in the ionization enthalpy along a given transition series is due to the increase in the nuclear charge. Right, so as the atomic number is increasing, so definitely there will be increase in the nuclear charge, but the increase is quite slow. The ionization enthalpy which has been observed to increase, it is very slow. Now why it is so? Because the effect of the increasing nuclear charge, right, is opposed by the additional screening effect of the nucleus by the n-1 d subshell electrons. As a result, the ionization enthalpy increases from left to right but quite slowly among the transition element. Now student, one more thing is there, that the irregular trend in the first ionization enthalpy of the first transition series element is due to the fact that the removal of one electron alters the relative energies of 4s and 3d orbital. Therefore, there is reorganization energy accompanying the ionization. So whenever the ionization of an electron of an atom will take place, there will be reorganization of energy with some gain in the exchange energy as the number of electrons increases in dn configuration. Right, so as we move across the series, you know that there's an increase in the electrons in the d subshell, so there will be greater exchange energy or the greater reorganization energy, right, from the transference of s electrons into d orbitals. Thus there is expected general increasing trend in the value of ionization enthalpy because of increase in the effective nuclear charge. Now the ionization enthalpy of chromium is lower because of the because after losing the one electron, it will give stable 3d5 configuration. Right, so you know the configuration of chromium, it is argon 3d5 4s1. So once the one electron has been removed from the s subshell, so the energy here, right, after losing the one electron, it will gain the stable configuration. Thus the first ionization enthalpy of chromium is low. But zinc has got high ionization enthalpy in its respective series. Why? Because it has to get its electron removed from the 4s orbital, right, and this is the stable configuration, right, and hence its ionization enthalpy is going to be very high. Now the next is the copper, which has got high ionization enthalpy because of its extra stability of completely filled set of d orbital. Right, so we have got two elements in the first transition series. One is the chromium, another is the copper, which has got exceptionally high ionization enthalpy values than those of their neighbors. Right, these exceptions are because due to extra stability of the half-filled and the completely filled set of d orbitals, in chromium to be 3d5 and in copper to be 3d10 respectively. Right? But the value of second ionization enthalpy for zinc is correspondingly low because the ionization enthalpy involves the removal of electron resulting in the stable 3d10 configuration. Now students, if we just have a look in the ionization enthalpies of the transition elements where the dashed line represent the third series, the orange line indicates the second series and the dotted line indicates the first series, right? So the trend in the third ionization enthalpy, right, generally it is not complicated by the 4s orbital factor and it shows high value of manganese Mn2 positive and Zn2 positive state because of stable 3d5 and 3d10 configuration. Now here you can see that the ionization enthalpy of elements of second and third transition series, right, and the first ionization enthalpy of the third transition series is higher than those of the first and the second transition series. The magnitude of the first ionization enthalpy of the third transition series, you can see they are placed at topmost of the graph, right? It is higher than those of the second than those of the first and the second transition series. Now why is it so? Because in the atom of the third transition series there is a filled 4f orbitals, right? So the 4f orbitals have got a poor shielding effect. As a result, the outer electrons have greater effective nuclear charge acting on the outer valence electrons. Therefore, the ionization energy is higher. So if we compare the first ionization enthalpy of first, second and third transition series, so students, third transition series, right, will have the higher ionization enthalpy because of the availability of the 4f orbitals, right, which are filled up, and due to their poor shielding effect they are not able to properly cover the nuclear charge, and hence the effective nuclear charge acting on the outer valence electrons which is to be removed will be high, and therefore it will have high ionization enthalpy. The next property of the transition element is the oxidation state. So one of the notable features of a transition element is the great variety of the oxidation state that it may show in its compound. It means that the transition elements show variable oxidation state. The stability of a particular oxidation states depend upon the nature of the element with which the transition metals form the compound. Now you can see in the table that the first transition elements are shown here, and along with them their general, or we can say the common, their different oxidation states are being mentioned. But if you see that the common oxidation state which all the transition elements show except the scandium is +2, and you can easily conclude here that it is so because of the configuration which they get, that is the 3D will vary from 0 to 10, 1 to 10, and there will be NS2. So the common oxidation state is +2, right, except the scandium. Now students, what is the cause of variable oxidation state? It is because of the participation of inner n-1d electrons in addition to the outer ns electrons, because the energy of the ns and the n-1d subshell are almost equal. The lower oxidation state is generally shown where only ns electron participate in bonding, and the higher oxidation state is exhibited where both ns and n-1d electrons take part in bonding. Now, when we say the stability of a particular state, it is going to depend upon the other element with which it has formed a bond. The highest oxidation states are found in compounds of fluorides and oxides because fluorine and oxygen, they are most electronegative elements. The elements with which gives the greatest number of oxidation state, they lie in or near the middle of the series. Manganese, it shows the oxidation state from +2 and +7. +2 to +7. That means it will have +2, +3, +4, +5, +6 and +7. Where the +5 state is a unstable state of it. The elements in the beginning of the series exhibits less oxidation state as they have got small number of the electrons in which they lose or contribute for sharing. Elements at the end of the series also shows fewer oxidation state because they have too many electrons in d orbitals, so they have few vacant d orbitals which can be involved in the bonding. Now the lower oxidation state, they will show the covalent character, whereas the higher oxidation state shows the ionic character. The higher oxidation state are more stable for heavier members, right? So if we see that in +2 and +3 oxidation state, the bonds which will be formed will be mainly ionic. But in the compounds of higher oxidation state generally formed with oxygen and fluorine, the bonds are essentially to be covalent. Within the group, the maximum oxidation state increases with atomic number. As atomic number will increase, the oxidation state will become maximum. For example, iron belongs to group 8. It shows a common oxidation state of +2 and +3, but ruthenium and osmium, which belong to the same group, that is group 8, forms a compound in +4, +6 and +8 oxidation state. Now coming back here, in higher oxidation state are more stable for the heavier members. In group 6, molybdenum, right, and tungsten, they show the +6 oxidation state and are more stable than chromium 6, right? So chromium 6 act as a strong oxidizing agent. Similarly, the highest oxidation state here, which will be shown by the transition element, is +8, and that is of ruthenium and osmium. The low oxidation states are found when a complex compound has a ligand which is capable of pi acceptor character in addition to sigma bonding. Yes, that is a synergic effect or the back bonding concept. For example, tetracarbonyl nickel and pentacarbonyl iron. The oxidation state of nickel and iron is 0 here. The stability of the higher oxidation state. Now the stability will be shown in the compounds with fluorine and oxygen, as we discussed that they have got are the most electronegative elements. Along with it, the ability of fluorine to stabilize the highest oxidation state is due to its either high lattice energy, as in case of COF3, or high bond enthalpy, as in case of VF5, vanadium pentafluoride and chromium hexafluoride. The ability of oxygen to stabilize the highest oxidation state is due to its ability to form the multiple bonds with the metal. You can in general simple write that the stability of the higher oxidation state is found in the compounds of fluorides and oxides because fluorine and oxygen are the most electronegative elements. Right, students? Now, unlike the p block elements where the lower oxidation states are favored by the heavier members due to inert pair effect, the higher oxidation state are more stable in heavier transition elements. Just before we discussed here that in group 6, molybdenum 6 and tungsten 6 are found to be more stable than chromium 6, right? So here the point to be noted is that at the end is that the variable oxidation state in the transition elements is because of the participation of inner n-1d electrons in addition to the ns electrons, right? And except scandium, in scandium we have got the lower oxidation state is +3, whereas rest of the elements in the first transition series shows the +2 oxidation state, right? And in the copper we have got +1 oxidation state also, right students? And when we are studying the transition series in a particular group, right, in that case as we move down the group, the oxidation state is going to increase, right? There will be higher oxidation state as we move down the group, right? As we discussed for the iron, ruthenium and osmium, ruthenium and osmium has a tendency to show +4, +6 and +8 oxidation state, right? And along with the plus oxidation state, the transition elements can also show the 0 oxidation state also, and that we have found in the complex compounds where the pi bonding takes pi along with this coordinate bond or a sigma bond, there is a formation of the pi bond also, that is the synergic effect acts, right? That is in case of the metal carbonyls.